Welcome back to Your Hour. Joining me now is Paul Rosales from RE/MAX Realty Professionals. And what are we going to be talking about today?
We're going to talk about loans, some of the newer type of loans that are making a comeback. A few years ago, we had all kinds of loans out there, and then the whole housing thing happened. Some of the banks started pulling back some of their loan products. Now they're starting to feel a lot more comfortable about the housing industry, and they're coming out with a variety of different products that are helping people to get into houses in more creative ways. I think we've talked a little bit about some of the lower income type of loans that are out there. There's a special kind of loan that if you qualify for it, you actually get up to 15% of your purchase price in the form of a down payment. It's a grant from the government. So if you buy a $100,000 house, you qualify for this program, you get $15,000 as equity. You just can't make a lot of money. Yeah, you can't make a lot of money. If you make too much money, you don't qualify for them. So that's kind of interesting. And there's also a 20% program, and that's the same catch. If you make too much money, you just don't qualify for them. It's a low-income housing type program that folks can take advantage of and be able to get instantly. As soon as you sign off on your title paperwork at the closing office, you have 15 or 20% stake in your house already, which is real nice.
Is there any amount of time that they have to live in the house?
5 years, if I understand correctly.
Okay, yeah. Otherwise they have to pay it back.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right. If you live there, if I remember right, it's 5 years on both programs, and once you live there, and you have to be an owner-occupant. You can't do this to buy like an investment property.
Right, right.
It's got to be an owner-occupant type program. Some of the other programs out there would be that would give you $9,000 for the purchase, and that'll let you buy a house up to $90,000. And if you buy that house up to $90,000, you can get up to $9,000 in the form of assistance in purchasing the house. So if you buy a $90,000 house and you get the $9,000, you automatically have a 10% stake in the property. Again, you can't sell it for 5 years. Now these plans can change, so you need to be with a realtor who can keep up on these programs, because they rewrite the programs from time to time. So what I'm saying right now may not be true at the end of the year if they reissue the program or something of that nature. But generally these programs look like they're here to stay for at least a while. So if you're not making too much money and you still want to be able to buy a house, there's programs out there that will give you up to $9,000, up to 15% down payment, or up to 20% down payment for people who want to be able to get into a property that normally wouldn't have the additional cash to put together a 20 or a 10 or even nowadays with FHA, all you need is 3.5% down. And some people have a hard time putting that together. So this would be able to let them get in there for virtually nothing. You kind of just pay for your appraisal, and that's about it. So there's some real good programs out there as far as that goes. On the other side of the spectrum, if your income, if your income is higher or moderate, it used to be that to get a conventional loan, you needed to have at least 20% down, and then they fluctuated down to 10 and then down to 5. Now they're down to 3. What that allows you to do is you're able to go in and purchase a home, and the extra money that you would have needed, the extra 5, 10, or 20% down, you can use that money to renovate the house you really like, the way you really like it. So you go in, you buy a house that's in a little bit rough condition, you buy it, you have the additional funds to renovate it to be the perfect house that you want.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, right, right. Make sure that you don't buy a house that's going to cost you more than what you have. What was that movie, The Money Pit? You don't want to get involved in that type of situation. But it's kind of interesting because, like I said before, FHA requires 3.5% down. These conventional loans are only requiring 3%. So it's a little bit easier to get into them in that respect. Not every lender's doing them. It's hard to find some of these lenders. Of course, I know about them, so I know about the lenders who are doing these various programs. If you do have some issues on your credit, traditionally you have people needing at least a 640 to get into a property. You need at least a 640 credit score to be able to get a loan. I'm in touch with lenders who are doing 580. Which is, a full 60 points lower. That's about a 10% difference in the credit report numbers. The interesting thing is that the lenders that I work with, if you're sitting at a 530 or a 540, they know how to get you to that 580 pretty doggone quick. You have to sit down with them. They'll review everything as far as your financial snapshot of what's going on with your finances. Once they have a full picture of what's going on, they can actually create a roadmap for you. And they'll say, if you do these things, I can get you into a house in 6 months. And it's up to you to do them. They'll tell you what you need, and And there you go. 6 months later, you're in a home. You may be qualifying for the 20% or the 15% or the $9,000 program. Or if you want to get into renovating a house, you can get one of the home renovation loans. But if you just do what they tell you, they'll get you into a house. That's why I like using, you know, the lenders that I do, because they just don't say, oh, you've only got a 540. Come back and see us in a couple of years when your scores naturally increase. These guys will give you a roadmap to get to dramatically shorten the time.
Because there are ways, and sometimes it's just a matter of there being something inaccurate on your report.
Right. Yeah, there's stuff, if it's 7 years or older, it's supposed to come off your credit report. And these guys will take a look at it, and if they say there's 3 things on there that you had 10 years ago, they drop them off just by writing a simple letter. Then all of a sudden you go from a 540, you might be at a 590, boom. You're into a home loan. So there's a lot of different ways to get into a house. The important thing is that if you're thinking about buying a house, give me a call. I'll get you in touch with the right people to get you going down the right path so you're not waiting when you really want a house. Instead, you'll be ready to buy it at that time.
Very cool. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank
you want to stick around for the last segment? Okay.
Sounds fun.
We'll be back in a couple of minutes, so stay with us.